Good day, guys. Thanks for visiting Richard's Corner. My name is Richard, and this is part two of that wonderful Salvation Army Thrift Store haul, continued from yesterday. So my initial shot had two books and a package. I revealed one book yesterday and one package. I'm revealing the other package and the second book today. So we've got some awesome Transformers and some other miscellaneous action figures in here. But let's start off with this really, really cool picture book to start. So on top of the Chris Hadfield book, I found this book called Humankind. And it's done by the Komatsu, I guess brothers or sisters, or I'm not sure if they're husband or wife. But I've not heard of this book before. It's originally $40. And again, this is another $3 find at the thrift store. And I can't believe some of the photography in here. Instead of Earth from space, this is people, all over the world. And these travel photographers have gone all over the place, capturing these wonderful portraits, capturing people in real situations, some both happy, some of them hardworking, some of them at play, some of them in really big events, more intimate shots. This is just an amazing book of humanity here. One of those really wonderful things that speaks to me as a photographer and also just sort of presents history in a sort of a different way. So it's called An Emotional Journey here on the cover. Not in bad condition at all. The slipcover is a little bit rough, but the book itself is in really pristine condition. So a really good find for $3 and a really good, inspiring piece of work for a photographer like me. So pretty awesome. So, and the second haul of action figures, this bag really spoke to me because of this particular Transformer. This Autobot really stood out. I'm not sure who it is yet, but why don't we do a bag opening here and we will see who we managed to find today. So now that we have everyone unbagged, let's try to get everyone standing again and we'll try to figure out who everyone is. So I finally have everyone standing up here and we're going to go through the obscure to the little bit more familiar. So why don't we start on the left-hand side here. Now this guy, I have no idea who he is, and it's a shame that he is so incomplete. Arm is missing here, arm missing here. The legs are in good shape. I really like the detail in this guy. A little obscure. I can't even find markings on him to try to determine what year he's from. Very well loved though. The joints are fairly loose. It's too bad that this guy is not too complete. I really don't even know what he looks like or what he's named. If you happen to know, guys, please do leave a comment below because the more I learn, the more I enjoy this. But it's a shame that this one's not complete. I don't think it's going to stick with the collection unless I find more figures like him. So there you go. So also included in that package was a couple of these little obscure cars. This one's interesting. I thought maybe it was a solar panel car, but it's actually just stickers. And it's weird that his tires rotate. So I guess I thought there might be two modes to them, but there's nothing on the top. So they don't quite suit my collection per se. They are pretty good. They're donatable, of course. I do like the detail in this spaceship, and it looks like it was supposed to be a little action figure in there. But they are neither Transformers or they're just a little bit more generic than anything else. So the boys might enjoy them here, or they might just go into the donation bin. But I just want to show you the find there. Pretty good detail in this one, though. Now, this one is not so obscure, but unfortunately it's fairly incomplete. I would transform him into more of a robot mode so you could see. This is actually from the Beast Wars Transformers series. He is a good guy on the Maximal team, and he is called Bonecrusher. He is a first strike infantry robot, and he obviously turns into an American Bison, which I have to admit, if it was complete, is a really, really cool piece. I just love all of the lighting really shows it well. All of the detail in the mold here, and in the face even, it's just really, really nicely done. It's a shame that this one is not complete. Although one of the younger boys here really is interested in it because it's a Bison, even though it's an incomplete one. But yeah, it's not directly a keeper for myself anyway. But it's too bad. I mean, depending on the thrift store you go to, sometimes you won't find complete figures. But I mean, if you are handy as far as modifying figures, this might actually make a good piece for someone like that. For myself, I'm not a modder, so this will probably go into the donation pile if one of the boys here doesn't keep it for themselves. So a neat find though, pretty fierce looking looking character for sure. Now this guy, I'm not sure what to make of him. He's got an unusual transforming ability, though he's not a transformer. Watch his face here. So you've got the silver face here to the very ugly golem looking face there. I prefer him in this. He's obscure, and I think that's why I want to keep him. He doesn't transform per se, although he does have some sort of, I don't know, shell-like mode, armored mode, I'm not sure. But you can see that his fists and stuff like that are molded into this side of his armor, so that's how I'm going to display him. But he's very reminiscent of the old G.I. Joe Destro. That's why I thought maybe he was some sort of transformer. But again, very few markings on him to indicate what he might be from. If you happen to know who this guy is, please leave a comment, because I'm very curious to see if there's more people like him, or if this is just kind of a one-off, or what. But the rotating head is a very unusual feature, and I don't see that in toys very often. So pretty cool. Now this guy, another incomplete figure. You can see his limbs are missing from the ball joints here. It's a real shame. I sort of want to keep him anyway until I find a more complete figure. But this is Cheetah, again from the Beast Wars Transformers series. His robot arms are missing, but his animal limbs are still all intact. So it's kind of still a keeper for me as far as collecting figures go. Once again, I'm really impressed by some of the detailing in these modern molds. A very hyper detailed figure, very reminiscent of the Beast Wars animated show, which is all CG. Computer generated, and so it does lend itself to more detailed figures. It's too bad, again, like the limbs are missing from these ones, but I mean, obviously it was well loved. But I really do love like just the expression on his face and the detailing in the remaining parts of the body here. I love the cheetah spots, and it's just a really neat maximal figure there. So pretty awesome addition, even if it's not complete. Switching gears here from Transformers to Power Rangers, it's a very Power Ranger with the black, yellow, red, pink, and blue signia on the front here. Now this is an unusual figure because it looks like he should have bullets that go into his hands, but upon closer inspection, you can't see it on camera, but his hands are actually in there. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take a precision screwdriver and I'm going to see if I can take this apart, because these guns come apart. They're not actually part of the figure. And when I look online, I can actually find this character, but not these guns. So I'm wondering whether or not somebody just sort of put them on or something. But let me cut away for a second to modify this and remove them and see if we can actually salvage this figure here. So I managed to actually take one off, and I'm just going to do this one on camera here. I don't know why this one had the guns on it, because it's actually not part of the original figure. But the parts do come off fairly easily here. And yeah, there you go. So pretty awesome. Actually, that's great that that's so intact then. That's perfect. I'm actually really pleased to find that. When I go onto the eBay listings online here for Bandai, this is actually back in 1997 this figure was released. And according to the listings as I scroll around here, some of the prices for the loose figure can range anywhere between, let's say, $20 after shipping for some, all the way up to like $40. So that's kind of crazy, but there is a little bit of scuffing on the paint here, so it is more of just a display piece. I'm glad I got it at a thrifty store price. The package again was a $4 package, so I spent very little to find this really good keeper. Love the definition in his muscles. I love the abs there. It looks very cool. Nice wide lats here. Very, very cool figure. Even in the black, I'm glad I've got an extra light here just so you can see the definition in the muscles here. That's a really primo figure for me, so I'm really happy about that. Go Rangers, that's awesome. So I've shown other Dragon Ball figures like this. These are from the Burger King Kids Club meal figures, and these were released way back in 2000 when Dragon Ball was starting to get really popular in North America. This one, his name is Frieza, kind of a weird kind of name. Not too many listings on eBay. He's worth about maybe $5 to $10 before shipping. Not a bad find. It actually rounds out the collection, because I don't believe I have this one yet. In some future videos, I think I'm going to start doing some displays and filming them, just so that you can see all the cool things that I've been finding at my thrift stores. So really cool detail. I love this bronze look for all these Dragon Ball Burger King figures, because it's kind of like this distressed kind of looking bronze kind of looking figure. So it is plastic though, it's not metal. Very light. There's no articulation other than the tail being able to move. It was meant to be put on a stand and with a little display card in the back. So not a bad find. I'm glad that I can round my Dragon Ball figures out with Frieza in the mix now. So that's pretty awesome. Well, all I have to say is that I love the internet, because if it wasn't for looking online, I would not have been able to transform this guy back to robot mode. At the beginning of the video, you saw that he was in a full car mode, and he was obviously an Autobot, but I had no idea how to transform him without instructions. So I actually found a PDF of the instructions online, and I managed to get him back into his robot mode, which I'm really happy about. This is a Transformer named Sideburn. He is from the Autobot team, and I'm not entirely sure who he is, because he is in a second, third generation kind of mode here. So, a second or third generation release, right? So I've never heard of him before, but you can tell from the look of him that he's definitely a later generation Transformer versus the more blocky look of the Generation 1s. The Generation 2s and 3s obviously have a little bit more detail, again, more reminiscent of the more recent iterations of Transformers, both animated and in the movies. This isn't quite as modern as the Michael Bay movies, more like the Transformers Prime and more recent animated shows for Transformers. He has a really cool look. I love the intensity in his face there. I love how the car body happens to mold into like a shield and shoulder plate for this guy. It really, again, amazes me just how well both North American and Japanese developers can make toys like this that transform into something like this, and back into the car that you saw at the beginning of the clip. So pretty amazing toy. I'm really happy to find it. In package, Sideburn is actually worth over $50. I'm really happy to find him loose. And again, this was like a $4 package. So I mean, even out of package, one in really minty condition would probably cost at least $10 from a collector. So really happy to find this, really expanding the Transformers universe on my collection here, and really happy to add it there. So this is awesome. So as you can see, the final shot here of the entire haul, including some of the keepers here, is gigantic. Thanks again to the friends over at the thrift store here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Please check out the links that I've left below in the description, and look for locations near you. Here in Winnipeg alone, there are 8 thrift store locations everywhere across the city. So there's one local to us here, no matter where you are in the city, or that just means there's just a ton to circuit through if you decide to do a gigantic haul. This was just from one store, guys. So this is pretty awesome. So I think for the whole, 13 something that I spent for this, I walked away way ahead for the kinds of things that I picked up that really speak to me. So I'm really happy with all this. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope this inspires you for your own thrifty finds. I wish you happy hunting and happy collecting, and I hope that all of your thrifty finds are just as equally awesome. Please stay tuned for another daily video and for more awareness for the wonderful thrift stores that are here in the city, and we will see you next time. Thanks for visiting Richard's Corner, guys.